Hi, it's the Chappiness guy. Welcome to today's episode of Vestibular Talks. Today's episode is quite unique as we're not interviewing a patient today, but we're interviewing a vestibular nurse. He's not a nurse in the medical sense of the word, but he is a nurse in the sense that he's helping his fiancée Era get back to good health. He is nursing her to find balance and health while diving into the medical medium protocols and finding what works and what doesn't work. Mike is here with us to share some of the stories of how being a partner to someone suffering from a vestibular disorder changes your life and how he has been able to adapt and to learn about what's happening to Era and how he can help her as well along this path. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Find your happiness, guys. All right, Mike, we're live.
All right.
Welcome to this episode of Vestibular Talks. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be here today. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you mind giving us a little bit of an introduction on who you are?
Okay, my name is Mike, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina, with my fiance Etta, who has been diagnosed with a vestibular disorder, and she's had it since January, and we've been, dealing with that since then, and it's been a crazy roller coaster. Yeah.
It definitely is. Yes, Mike. So very interesting that you are here with us today because you are probably the first episode that we've done with someone that is not directly dealing with the vestibular condition, but dealing with caring for a loved one that is experiencing all these symptoms. So do you know anything about the vestibular system before this happened to Era, or you didn't know about the
I
vestibular
I
system?
had no idea, when she first got sick, before she had her drop attack, she had vertigo or whatever, and we didn't know if she had the flu or whatever. We didn't know what happened. We were confused. And then she got better, and then all of a sudden she stood up one day and just fell over. And since the day she fell, like her whole world has changed. Our world has changed.
Yes.
Uh, since she went to an ENT, and he said, he was like, oh, you might have a vestibular migraine. That's when Etta found people on YouTube, and it kind of opened up a Pandora's box. And since she was, pretty much diagnosed with vestibular migraines, I've been learning about it every single day for months and
Yeah.
months.
Um, you're quite involved, as you say, with learning about it and understanding it. What do you think when she first started experiencing these crazy symptoms? Because that's what they are. They are so crazy to understand. When you didn't know what was happening, she didn't know what was happening, and you started seeing your fiance that was a strong woman, intelligent woman, successful woman, all of a sudden being debilitated by all these weird symptoms. What came through your mind?
I knew something was very wrong, right from the beginning, after she went to the hospital, and, they did a bunch of tests on her, and they were like, okay, you're fine. Your potassium levels are low. You're good to go. And it was a mystery. I didn't know what to think, and I didn't know how to help her. She was having horrible anxiety attacks, so I was like, go see, the primary doctor, maybe get some anti-anxiety medication to help calm down, while we figure out what's going on. But I didn't really know what to think, but I knew, there was something very wrong because Etta doesn't just, lie down all day and do nothing. And, she likes to be active and do stuff around the house and work. And she laid in bed for months and did nothing.
Yeah, that laying in bed for months, it takes a toll, not only personally, but also financially, emotionally, and the fact that you don't know what the future is gonna hold. So while she was dealing with this during those months, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking? Not saying, hey, like maybe this is gonna be the rest of our lives, or maybe she's gonna get better soon. What were you thinking?
I'm thinking we need to figure out what's going on and how to, approach this for her to heal. But my main concern was we've got two dogs, and, she couldn't do any like cooking or anything like that. So I had to figure out how to balance my time as far as like getting up in the morning, taking care of the dogs, going to work all day, and then coming home and taking care of dinner and chores and laundry.
Yeah.
And it took me weeks and weeks to figure out how to manage my time to be able to take care of her and then take care of, my job and everything else that goes along with just living.
Of course, of course. Mike, what kind of toll has that taken emotionally on you? Because often we talk about the patient, we know the patient becomes anxious, becomes depressed, but we don't often talk about the partner that is there 100%, seeing the symptoms daily, uh, trying to figure out a way to help without really knowing how to help. So how have you felt? How have you felt that you've been able to provide that support, or have you felt a little bit powerless, not being able to say, hey, I want to take this away from me?
Well, yeah, at first I felt really powerless because, every day she wasn't getting better. Like nothing was helping her. She's just crying all the time. And I'm just like, I wish there was something I could do to help. But, I put my head down and just kept moving, kept things going. And, I never looked back. I just, once I figured out how to manage everything in one day, I kind of got a routine down. And I'm not going to give up or anything like that. I just kept going. And
Yeah.
emotionally, it was hard, but like I just never really, giving up or it just wasn't an option. My family was concerned, and they don't really understand like how severe it is. And
Yes.
I try to explain, but because every day they're like, oh, how's she feeling today? And I'm just like, she's not good. She's sick. And then, a week later, how's she feeling? She's not feeling good.
Yeah, I know.
You just got to toughen up and figure out how to manage your time and get everything done in one day.
Okay. Mike, in the episode that I did with Era, she said that she even got to the point that she didn't want to become a burden to you because, and I understand that because I said the same to my wife. I didn't want to become a burden. I didn't want her to put her life on hold for me. So Era in the episode said she felt so powerless dealing with this that she even approached you and said, Mike, if you need to move on with your life and you need to let me take charge over my own life, and even if she does something that is, we often fall into thinking that suicide is the only way out. um how was that? So that's probably shocking for you, because you love her, right? Like you don't want her to do anything that drastic, but do you also feel compassion in the sense that you're like, well, maybe that's the only option? Like it's a very touchy
No,
subject because it's
I
very
never
hard.
thought. Yeah, I never thought about walking away and letting her deal with have her family help her. I just never really, that thought never crossed my mind. Like it crossed her mind, like, hey, I don't want to burden this guy. Like it's not fair. He has to do all this stuff. But for me, it's just it wasn't really walking away wasn't an option. Like I wasn't gonna just be like, okay, well you're broken. Good luck.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. No,
it wasn't easy, but I never thought like, hey, this is ruining my life or whatever. I try not to be selfish because I can only imagine what she's going through, and you know, my life is easy compared to what she has to go through.
yes. It's very unfortunate that we have to deal with these conditions. Are you afraid that maybe at some point in life you might experience something like that, or now that you've seen her deal with it, if it ever happens to you, I mean, God willing, it doesn't happen, but if it ever happens to you, you feel now that you kind of have the tools to manage it and to live with it as well.
Yes, I do. We've uncovered so much information, since she got sick, and I believe that with the knowledge I have now on diet and everything like that, I feel like if something happened to me, I could try to battle it and win. So I'm not afraid.
Okay, good. Because my wife, one of the things she said, she's like, just seeing you deal with this, she's like, it terrifies me that if I ever have to experience it too. She's like, I just seeing how dark this condition is, I would never want to go through that. So yeah, no, that's great that you have that
Yeah.
resilience and that you will fight through it. Mike, I see you mentioned diet. I see the medical medium books behind you. And I say that Era told me before that you're quite involved with the healing process that she's going through, that you support her with the diets, that you're trying to do the same things, the same exercises, the same things that she's doing just to show your support. How is this diet, the diets changing your life? Because they, they, they are obviously very strict, like they restrict a lot of bad things, quote unquote. How is this changing your life regarding your perception towards food?
It's completely transformed my health. You know, the stuff that I'm doing for Etta to, help her get better. I do everything we eat. We eat the same stuff every day. We follow the same protocols, and I'm not sick. So people are like, well, why are you doing that? And I tell them it's proactive prevention.
Yeah,
So that's kind of like my reason to. So if something goes wrong down the road, I might have, fixed it before it happened. But
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, are we going to go into the books or?
Please do, please let me know
Okay,
how you
yeah.
feel about it.
Okay, so at first, Etta, when she found out about her illness, she did a bunch of research and she's like, "Oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that." And we tried a bunch of stuff for a couple months and nothing worked. She didn't get better, nothing was happening. And finally, she was like, "We need to go to the bookstore and get this medical medium book. It's, apparently it's a really good book." So I was like, "All right, medical medium, that's whatever, like it's a book." I'm not a big
Yeah,
book guy, like I don't read a lot. But we got the book, and I read the whole book, the first one, Medical Medium, front
yeah,
to
yeah.
back, in a couple days, and it finally provided answers to all the things that were going on with Etta, and it described her symptoms to like a T, to the point I was like, oh my God, this guy knows exactly what Etta's
So,
going
so
through. And as you keep reading the book, he's like, I'll tell you how to like heal, just keep reading. And, he breaks down everything like to the exact detail of what's going on with everybody. So I was like, all right, this seems like the real deal. And we started doing the celery juice and some of his detox smoothies. And he's got like, all sorts of recipes. And since we've been doing that, we've been seeing dramatic improvement over with her health every day. And I'm drinking celery juice right now.
how do you like it? A lot of people
I,
don't like it.
I love it, man. I can't live without it now. I have to have at least like 24 ounces in the morning, right when I wake
Wow.
up. Yeah, every day we've been doing it strong for about 5 months straight. Every morning, we don't miss a morning.
And you feel good? You feel good? Like you
I feel
feel,
amazing. I've lost like 15 pounds because
yeah.
I was starting to get a little, a little inner tube around my belly, and since I've been doing the juice, it's like it's disappeared. So
It's, yeah,
it's doing miracles for her and me at the same time. And I'm trying to I have some family members that are chronically ill, and they're going to start doing it, and hopefully they can see some results too.
nice, nice. That's good. Yeah, hopefully this is some improvement. Mike, now that you mentioned the medical book, the protocols and all of that, a lot of people criticize him because number one, he's not a real doctor. So a lot of people criticize him because of that. But also because he seems to focus the, the, the fact that many chronic conditions come from the Epstein-Barr virus or the shingles virus, and many people don't believe in that. They say, no, there is no way that all these conditions can be associated to those viruses. Do you feel that the viruses actually have something to do with what is happening to Era, to myself, and to many other people?
Absolutely, 100%. Because Etta went to a bunch of doctors before she saw her neurologist, who are licensed and trained medical professionals, and they couldn't give her any answers at all. They couldn't explain anything. They had no idea what was going on. And this guy wrote a book, and he described everything exactly what was going on. And he's a little out there with the way he gets his information, but I truly believe his theory is the body doesn't attack itself. Pathogens, heavy metals, viruses attack, and I believe her illness is 100% virus related.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's you're right. He gets criticized because of where he gets his information from, but who are we to judge? You're right. He's very accurate with the things he says. So it's and you take it with a grain of salt. You use whatever applies to your life, and whatever you don't need, then you just let it go, right? Mike, now that you've seen improvements in ERA, what do you feel the future holds for the two of you? Do you feel that this might be a condition that she might have to deal with the rest of her life, or that she's going to get to a point where you and her can live a somewhat more normal life, past the symptoms, past the debilitating condition? What do you think?
I think she's probably going to have some of these symptoms the rest of her life. But I think if we keep fighting, every day, I think she can get to like 90% where she can have a normal life. I don't think these symptoms are just going to disappear completely, but there's hope that she's going to get her energy back. She's going to get her balance back. She's not going to live on Mattress Island every day, and she can have, a quality of life again. I do believe there is hope for that.
Awesome. Now that you've learned a lot more about the vestibular system and the vestibular disorders, I noticed that your Instagram is called the vestibular nurse.
Yeah.
Have you gotten people approaching you because of that name, maybe asking you for advice or asking you,
Uh,
hey, like,
not yet. I haven't really put myself out there too much. Etta spends a lot of time, communicating with all sorts of, vestibular people, and it's almost like a full-time job for her. So I haven't really, I haven't put myself out there to, try to help people, I guess. I mean, I'm open to doing that, obviously. I just haven't really promoted myself to really, connect with a bunch of people, I guess.
yeah, no, but probably after this video, you're gonna get some
Yeah,
inquiries. So,
yeah.
yeah,
But I've spent months and months trying to perfect, my approach to this, and I definitely could give people pointers on, how to help their loved ones or whoever, get started on this medical medium protocol, because I believe that's the only thing that really works. And obviously, see your doctors and do your medication, whatever. But
yeah,
there's stuff you can be doing on your own without doctors to help yourself improve. And I think there's no harm in drinking celery juice. You're
yeah.
saying people, there's, haters on Anthony William. I'm like, okay, he's telling you to drink, celery juice. This isn't like, he doesn't have a celery juice farm where he's
Yeah,
trying to like
yeah.
make
That's
profit off you. He's saying eat wild blueberries and eat asparagus every day. It's not like, oh, take this, drug and you're going to be fixed and buy it from my website. He's just trying to help people.
yeah.
That's what I believe.
That's part of why I respect him, because he's not really promoting a specific brand of food or a specific brand of things. He's just generalizing, saying, "Hey, take celery juice, eat your vegetables, try to eat a clean diet." The one thing that you just mentioned, asparagus, they are extremely healthy, they are extremely good, but for whatever reason, I've been noticing that when I eat them, which is about 2 or 3 times a week, the symptoms seem to increase. So I don't know if there is a specific connection with me specifically in the asparagus, or it's just a coincidence that when I've eaten them, things seem to increase in symptom wise. So have you noticed anything with Era when she eats them? Is she the same, better, anything?
No, I think she's the same when she eats it. It doesn't, it doesn't affect her vestibular system one way or another, I don't think. So
Okay.
maybe that's just something specifically with you.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, a lot of people that are suffering from this condition and many other chronic conditions, they feel neglected by their families because their families are like, oh, you're a hypochondriac. Oh, I'm sure these symptoms are not as bad as you're making them seem. Or they just don't know how to be compassionate about it because they are used to seeing a healthy family member, and all of a sudden, bam, they see a person that is bedridden for long periods of time. What kind of advice would you like to say first to the chronically ill that feel neglected by their families, and second to their family members that don't know how to help?
Well, I'd like to say it's a challenge explaining to people that, your whole world is spinning and you literally can't stand up, but you look perfect, you sound perfect. If you look at Etta, she looks fine, but she's not. And you gotta tell people to read the medical medium. That's he breaks it down saying, hey, this is not in your head. Like, you're not making this up. Like, this is an actual physical virus attacking your body, which is causing you to live on Mattress Island. nobody wants to live on Mattress Island. I don't know what person would fake being sick and just stay in their bedroom all day for months at a time. Like, nobody's doing that on purpose. And as far as like explaining to the family, I don't even know how to really break it down to my family. I just tell them she's not doing well, and I know that's probably not the best approach, but I don't really know how to break it down for them, because people think, oh, you don't feel good, well, just go see the doctor and you'll be fine. Well, it just
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. Like, that's not how it works. And a lot of my friends are like, oh, has she been to the doctor? Like, when's she going to the neurologist? And I'm like, well, she's gonna go, but that doesn't mean he's just gonna magically fix her. It
The
doesn't
magic
work like
pill.
that. But yeah, to all the chronically ill people, I know you're not making this up. It's not in your head. Like, this is real. There's something attacking you, and you're not doing this on purpose. Like, no one would do this on purpose, in my opinion.
Do you feel that in order for family members to find more compassion, they should do what you do and maybe read a little bit more about the conditions, maybe take part of the protocols and take part of the healing
Yeah.
activities? Do you think that will help connect like
Yeah, I think for people that are having a really hard time understanding, they really need to read the medical medium, and if they have any like health problems, they should consider the protocol. Try drinking celery juice for a couple months and see that it actually works, and it does help like your digestive system and all sorts of stuff. Even if you're not chronically ill, it does so many great things for you. It can only help you. So the medical medium is the only person I know that can explain, in a book of what's really going on. But then also people are going to be like, oh, he gets his information from a crazy source, and like this guy's bogus. But I don't think so. I don't think he's bogus at all. And there's other stuff besides diet that he recommends, and it's spiritual stuff, which you got to read the book, to see how to do that stuff. But we also do the spiritual side as well, like every day. And I think that helps too.
is part of it? Yes, that's a huge part of it. Mike, regarding actual medications, they are so there is not a specific medication for the vestibular system. They try antidepressants, they try calcium channel blockers, they try benzos, they try a bunch of pills to see what works. How do you feel about ERA if the neurologist is like, well, try this, try that, try this? Like, do you feel that any of these medications could help, or do you rather go the clean way and do it holistically without the medication?
I think she should definitely stick with the medications that the doctors recommend, like maybe in, not super high doses, but I think the medications do help like alleviate the symptoms, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to heal her. They're just going to help her deal with her daily life. But I
Yeah.
think to fully heal, it's got to be holistically. But I'm not against prescription drugs or anything like that that
Oh,
are used, that are used for the illness. I think it's, very important that you try different things, because it could help with some of your symptoms and you could have, a better quality of life. But if you don't do the holistic approach, you'll never fully heal.
yeah. The conflicting part with the medication is that one doctor could say, hey, take nortriptyline and that will help. And then you visit a different doctor and he's like, no, 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 don't try nortriptyline, try something else. So it's so conflicting because it's like there is no consensus of what really works. So it makes it more confusing for the patient and for the family.
Yeah, I mean, that was a problem for Etta when, her ENT prescribed her to 75 milligrams of nortriptyline, right off the bat. And this illness was such a mystery. She was like, yeah, let's try it if this
Yeah,
helps. And it ended up being like just too high of a dose. So now she's trying to, wean off of it, and it's, just coming off of it is causing problems.
because yeah,
But, I feel like you should try stuff like, I don't know, just be careful, be cautious, and learn what the side effects are first and do your research. But I know some people are so like hopeless. They're like, I'll just give me whatever and I'll take it. But try to just do your research first and, figure out if that's what you want to do.
yeah. Mike, you mentioned earlier that ERA is quite involved talking to people in her daily life that have these vestibular conditions, try to bring them support. How do you feel about that she's dealing with her own condition, meanwhile she's trying to help others? Do you feel that it sometimes can become overwhelming, or you feel that this is giving her a sense of hey, I'm gonna get better so I can help other people get better?
I think it's given her a purpose for sure, and a sense of community. And she has such a strong support group that, if she has an attack, she can reach out to her peers and they can help her. So it goes both ways. Like, people are helping her all the time and she's helping people all the time. And I think it's important that everybody, communicates with each other to try to help, because this is so crazy. It's a mystery. Like, it's the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen. But there's such a network out there, and there's so many resources. You need to, use them and take advantage of them. They're out there for a reason. And I feel that when the vestibular community, communicates to each other, they help each other get through this.
Yeah, you're talking a lot about community, and I know you're quite involved with helping with the whole incident that happened in Lebanon that unfortunately affected so many people. I believe Era has also been a little bit involved with that as well. Do you guys often find that you like to give to the community in order to help others that are less fortunate, or how come that you're so involved in like doing this, helping people with the vestibular disorders? It's just a part of giving you a purpose, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, it definitely gives you a purpose, and I think it's just something that, needs to be done. Beirut had a, major catastrophe, and there's a small group in Charleston that's doing fundraiser events, and we've been trying to go to those and contribute. And it all kind of correlates to the whole chronic illness too. It kind of coincides, like you said, helping people. It gives you a purpose, and it's just something that needs to be done.
All right. Mike, what would you like to say before we close the interview to all the people that are feeling there is no way out, they are desperate, and they consider that the only way out is suicide because not even their family members or their husband or their wives understand them? What would you like to say to those people?
Say, there is hope. You can get through this. You've got to change your lifestyle. It's a complete lifestyle change. Get on the medical medium, do your research, start changing your diet immediately, and just know that this is a battle. It's going to be, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's days where Edda's just, on the bed all day long in the dark, and some days are better than others, but you got to keep fighting. This is a huge fight, and you've got to put in as much effort and time as you can every day into battling this, but you can overcome it, and there is hope.
Awesome. And my final question, Mike, is what do you think the future holds for you and Era regarding like the medical medium protocols regarding her health? Do you feel that this new diet is sustainable in the long term and you're committed to it? Or do you feel that once she gets better, you guys will go back to what life used to be like? What's the future like for you?
We're going to stick with medical medium probably for the rest of our lives. I can't imagine a life without celery juice. I mean, I don't want to say I'm addicted, but I love it. And it's starting my day off with it. It makes me feel great. It just helps my stomach. And, we make it the night before, because making it in the morning to me is a pain in the butt. I just want to, when I wake up, I want it cold and ready to go. So I recommend to people, make it the night before so you don't have to deal with it in the morning. And, but yeah, it's something we're going to stick with for the rest of our lives. We still, sometimes we eat junk food. We're not perfect. Like, we still have a little fun now and then, but we're always putting in the right stuff every day for what our body needs. But no one's perfect. Like, you can still have fun, eat some junk once in a while. Like, it's not like you're stuck eating, carrots the rest of your life. And, you can have some fun. You got to live a little bit too, but always be working on, putting the stuff in that you need to get rid of the virus or whatever the heck is going on.
Mike, this is a personal question mostly for me. I follow the medical medium diet really, really good too. Like, I'm very good with it. The only thing that I have a little bit of a struggle with is protein. I do eat chicken and I do eat beef. I don't eat pork. I do eat chicken and beef. And I know Anthony doesn't he's not against it. He's not
No,
against beef,
no.
but he says, he's like, if you can do without it, it's probably better for you. How do you feel about that? Do you still enjoy protein, or
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are completely getting out of it?
So we still eat chicken and beef, but we just try to get like the organic chicken and then the 100% grass fed beef. And we eat meat like a couple times a week, so it's not included in like every dinner.
Every
So that's our approach. And yeah, he does say like he doesn't have a problem with meat, but he's like, don't eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every
and
day.
yeah,
Give your liver a break.
the hardest thing for me was eggs. When I
Oh,
stopped
really?
eating eggs, I miss them. Yeah, I miss eating eggs for sure.
No, eggs have made me sick like all the time. And when he said don't eat eggs, I was like, oh, that's no problem.
Good.
Yeah, I
You're
don't
like,
need
dude, I'm getting rid of it.
it. Yeah.
All right, Mike. No, well,
All
thank you
right.
so much for being part
Yeah.
of this interview. It's a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for everything you're doing. And if people want to reach out to you for some advice, whether it's a chronically ill person, or their loved one, where can they find you?
They can go to the vestibular nurse on Instagram, and also they can reach out to Etta when she's a vestibular guru on Instagram. So they can reach out to her or me. It doesn't matter. We'll be glad to talk to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
you're
Have a
welcome.
wonderful day.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.